All right. All right, here we are, our final week of our Pacesetters, where in this Pacesetters, we've really been focusing on, booking and holding parties and kind of the ins and outs and how to get the party booked and how to follow up, how to coach the party. Last week, we talked about opening the party, the guts of the party. This week we're going to talk about the close of the party and all of that, but I want to say that I've already seen a great increase in the parties that you guys are holding, and so it gets me all excited because remember, parties are like push-ups. So we want to see great benefits. We want to see major results. We're going to be holding parties and getting in front of people. And I do want to take a moment to talk about the booking process and how with booking of parties or any appointments for that matter, like we said, I am not one of those people that says, oh, you can only hold parties and facials are a waste of time. I absolutely disagree with that statement. I believe that facials are a great use of your time. I do believe that parties generally will bring you more and they will get you outside of your circle. They'll introduce you to new people. And Mary Kay would say that there's a new beauty consultant at every single party. So parties bring you usually the greatest amount. But the thing to understand about bookings is that 50% of bookings hold. 50%. And so what that means is we've got to be booking twice as many as we want to hold. So if you want to make sure to hold 2 parties a week, then you need to book 4 parties. If you want to make sure that you're holding 3 parties a week, you need to be booking 6 parties. Now you'll find that there are times of feast or famine. You will find that there are times where everything holds, and then you'll find there are times that nothing holds, right? Okay, but the 50% is it's pretty strong average. So making sure that we're continuously, I want you to repeat after me, continuously. You're all muted out, so I can't hear you if you did. But I could see you, Marla. That was good. Continuously booking, because what I've found is that a lot of us, myself included, we'll get so excited. We'll have a booking blitz. Maybe we even have a power partner. Maybe we're even given an incentive to fill our date book, and that's what we do. We fill our date book, and then we stop asking because then we're like, oh great, I have all these appointments. Here's the thing. When you do that, again, you put those air bubbles in that pipeline. And then, okay, so let's say you fill your date book. Then if you stop continuously asking, then you experience those cancellations. And then before you know it, you have an empty date book. So that's why you continuously are booking. So my question to you is, when is your booking time? Well, oftentimes we'll ask you about your schedule. Your director, in order, and just coaching you and everything, she's wanting to know, okay, when do you want to hold appointments? And that's the beauty of our business, is that we get to book them and hold them around our schedules. For instance, let's just say that you do not work on Sundays. If you do not want to work your Mary Kay business on Sunday, you don't have to work your Mary Kay business on Sunday. Or maybe Saturdays. I have actually my best friend Cheryl Fulcher does not work on Fridays. Fridays have always been her day off, and that's what she likes to do. And she works it really hard Monday through Thursday, and then she'll work again on Saturday. But Fridays and Sundays she usually takes off. So you get to have that benefit. But when in your schedule are you actually booking? So I will tell you, there's a couple of times where I have found that the yeses increase, and that is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now, that doesn't mean that if you book on Monday, if your booking time is on Monday and Wednesday, that you're not going to get yeses. For me, I have found that my yeses increase during those days. So what I do is I actually tend to ask people maybe for the initial booking during those days, and then the other times are more like follow-ups. But it's, and you might be a power girl, meaning that you want to carve out 1 hour of bookings a couple of times a week, or you might be one of those people that says, I want to carve out 10 to 15 minutes every day to make sure that I'm doing my bookings. But the bottom line is, You've got to continuously be asking in order to be continuously having those bookings. Okay, so what we're going to finish up on here is we're going to talk about continuously talking about the guts of the party and the close of the party. So we got through last week, that we were talking about when we're doing the guts of the party, which is the actual product demonstration part, that we're like next. We're staying about a half a step in front of them so that everything stays in motion. Now, I think it's valuable to you to find a time that you are most comfortable with on asking for referrals during the party. So if you're starting your party with, you're going around the table, you're getting to know them just a little bit better, and then you're starting with the why wash your face, tell a little bit of your story, and then jump in with the products. Then there needs to be some time during that party where you are asking for referrals. The referral sheet is on our davisarea.com website under Davis Area Systems. And it is so great. And our incredible Cadillac Senior Sales Director, Kendra Burkett, came up with the most brilliant word ever when it comes to these referral sheets. And it has the word nominate. Who would you like to nominate for a makeover? That's the most brilliant word ever, I feel like. And so anyway, having a time, what I like to do is I like to get them all the way through skincare, and I do primers. I like to show primers at my parties. That part's up to you. And of course, if it's a skincare party, maybe it's during microderm or during a mask or during the peel or whatever. But this is the time where I pause, and I pause the product, and I go right into asking for those referrals, because those referrals, that is gold. That is gold right there for you. So, okay, so then you do that, and then you finish the party. So whether you're doing just skincare, you're doing color, there's all kinds of different parties to do. So just have fun with it. You can have themes and stuff like that, but whatever you're doing to wrap it up. And then I showed you all the close sheet, and I said, make sure to print these, and these two are on the Davis Area website under resources, under Davis Area Systems. And you can print, and I always put this on the first side, and then the starter kit flyer on the second side. And I have them, I print them on cardstock, but it doesn't really matter. And I just put them in page protectors. That's it. Because they do change from time to time, so you'll be slipping them in and out. But what I do is I have these by me the whole time. And then at the very end of the class, that's when I'm passing them out. And try to have plenty in your starter kit bag. And that's where they reside, is in my starter kit bag. And so I'm pulling those out and I'm handing them out. And then I quickly go through the sets. I'm like, okay, so if you want to know the best deals of tonight, here they are. Set number one is, our basic set. And I like to just try to joke, I'm always about, let's have as much fun as we can. And, we've been talking about that since day one. Like, you've got to be having fun at your parties. And that is seriously your number one goal, is to have fun. Because if you're having fun, they're having fun, right? So this is where I have fun. And oftentimes when I'm talking to them about their cleanser moisturizer, I'm like, this is like your underwear. Like, these are your essentials. You do not leave home without that. So then I go back and I say, so set number one, remember, that's your underwear set. Set number two, that's your Spanx. You remember that? And so anyway, you just have fun with it. And I buzz through all those sets, and then that's a great time to stay. I take cash, check, or credit card, or debit card, or whatever you have. And then I tell them too, you don't have to purchase anything, but if you would like to take products home with you tonight, I have them with me. You could say that like 10 times and you'll still have people surprised when you hand them their bag of goodies. They're like, oh my gosh, I get to take it home. I did a kickoff party with a brand new consultant yesterday. And as I handed her her goodies, I mean, she was elated. She was so excited that she got to take those home. So anyway, then once I go through this with them, actually, let me pause real quickly and say, there is so much value in this. I have done my parties every which way you can, right, wrong, doesn't matter. I've done it with this, without it. This roll-up sheet right here, this is a menu. I do give them the Mary Kay lookbook, but the lookbook can be a little bit overwhelming. This is a menu. People will purchase in sets because that's what you're showing them. Even if they don't get 4 sets or 6 sets to get a roll-up bag, they will still say, well, I want this set, or I want this set, or whatever. They will purchase in sets because you've made it available to them. It's like a menu that they can just look at. So then I do flip it over and I say, you know, I told you a little bit about Mary Kay at the beginning. I'm happy to answer any more questions. I'm always looking for women who would love to add a little extra income in their family and who would like to be able to do that around their schedule. So this is everything that comes in the starter kit, again, for $100 plus shipping and tax. And so that's an option for you as well. And then that's it. Like, I don't go on and on because, again, you've got to get to the most important part, which is actually that one-on-one time. Okay, so once I'm done with the table close, that's when we break up and I say, okay, Ashley, I'm using you as my hostess again. Okay, Ashley is, she's got some yummy goodies. So everybody go ahead and, you know, now's the time. You can go grab a plate of food and everything. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to meet with everybody individually, you know, on the couch in the other room, just so I can answer any questions that you have. And that's it. And that's a great time for you to go to the restroom, go get your own plate of goodies, you know, all of that good stuff. And then what I do is I'll say, does anybody need to leave right away? It's also a great time for your hostess to do satin hands on everyone. I like to keep the satin hands to the end. You can do it at the beginning. I like to keep it at the end, but that's a great time to kind of work that in. So if nobody has to go right away, and I'll tell you, there's a big difference. So if you do a party on a weeknight, you will have people that have to leave right away. If you do a party on a Friday night, you'll have people there all night long because they are not like, you are it. You are what they are doing for the night. So just kind of be prepared for that. Do you remember that happening, Autumn? So anyway, that was awesome. And it's fun. It's fun to have people just hang out. But what I do at that point then is I'll just say, okay, Marla, you're up. You're my first contestant. Why don't you grab your catalog and everything and come meet me on the couch? And so she's kind of like, what all do I bring? You want her, and sometimes I'll even just go gather it for her, is I will say, you know, I would go ahead and grab this sheet for them. I grab their catalog, I grab their profile, and their sales ticket. I just grab all of that, or have them grab all of it and meet me over at the couch. Okay, so this is your one-on-one closing. So just remember, you have 2 closings at every party or every appointment. Even individual facials, you would still like sit there with them. I'm at my table where I do appointments, so I would like look at them and I would kind of share with them the roll up, and then I would give them a few minutes, and then I would kind of go into these closing questions. Okay, so question number 1 is just, did you have a good time? And of course they say yes. And of course they're going to say yes. If they say no, then you just tell them to go home right now. But anyway, no. So they're going to say yes, and you say, great. What was your favorite part of what we tried tonight, or your favorite product? Or one question that I love to ask is, what was your favorite part of the skincare? Because if you did skincare and makeup, then the makeup was the last thing that they did, and the skincare is, of course, what we want to get them on. So then I want to take them back to the skincare portion. So I said, what was your favorite part of the skincare that you tried today? So then they're thinking about that. So that's question number 2. Question number 3 is, what would you like to take home with you tonight? Now, I know that I'm preaching to the choir. I believe that you guys all have product on hand. My question to you is, do you have enough product on hand? Do you have enough product on hand to be thinking like a business owner? And one mistake that I do see some consultants making, especially when you're new in the business, is maybe you did start with inventory. Most of you do. And you think, okay, so, you know, then you're focused on, I want to pay this off or whatever. And you go from, I want to, you know, I'm trying to sell it all. That is not the goal. Your goal is not to sell out of inventory. Your goal is to always have a store of inventory. So when you sell products, you want to reorder those products. If you have a full store, you don't have to order every week. You could probably get away with ordering maybe once a month. But if you don't have a full store, you might be ordering quite a bit. And remember, every time you order, that shipping cost is going to eat into your profit a little bit. So that's why you want to make sure that you are stocked and you are ready to go. So okay, so then you're asking them, what would you like to take home with you tonight? Now, for those of you who feel like you can't ask that question, I'll rephrase it, because I remember there was a time when I was like, I can't ask him that. That's too pushy. And I would, okay, so here's what I would say. I would say, is there anything you would like to take home with you tonight? You know what? If that feels better to you, do it. Ask that question. But I just assume, and I do think there's a lot to be said for assumptions. You know, I'm assuming that when I go into a house or a party, I'm assuming that they are, you know, they're going to love Mary Kay. I'm also assuming that they may or may not be, you know, like want to be there, but maybe their friend like bribed them or drugged them there. But I assume that they're going to love Mary Kay. I think that if they're a quality person, then they're going to be interested in the business. And I assume that they're going to want to take products home with them that night. So anyway, that's where I kind of shifted in my speech. So I said, what would you like to take home with you tonight? And then that's when the questions start, because that's when they're like, well, okay, so I was looking at this set, and then that's where you kind of walk through them with everything. Like they might say, okay, so this girl yesterday who said, I want set number 5, and she said, what do you think? Do you like the colors that I tried on? I said, I love the colors, and I did. She looked fantastic in them. And she was like, okay. And then she's had a few quick questions, and I said, and you can take all that home with you right now. So let's get that together for you, total it up. And I don't get the products out right then. Okay, don't get the products out right then. I total them up and I say, here you go. How did you want to pay for that? Cash, check, credit card, debit card, whatever. And then we go into, I go right into the 4th question. And the 4th and final question is, all right, let's get your follow-up appointment booked. Oh, let me back up to the 3rd question. So when I'm asking them what they would like to take home with them tonight, especially if there's somebody that I really like, I'm going to say, or are you ready to join my team? Would you like to, you know, make some extra money? Would you like to earn a free car? That kind of thing. So I think it's a great time to talk to them about the business as well. Okay, so the 4th and final question is booking that follow-up appointment. So, okay, so when are we going to book your follow-up appointment? The reason why this is really important is because I want to be able to give you a check-up facial, making sure that what you purchased is what you like, because all of our products are guaranteed. And you are even welcome to have some girlfriends join you at that follow-up appointment, and then you can earn free stuff tonight just like Ashley did. And so, you know, let's say it's a Thursday night. So do Thursday nights work for you? Is that usually pretty good? You know, and then you kind of just get that scheduled. Now, we're going to go back to some training we did early at the very beginning of this month. And I'm going to talk to you about how to handle it when they say, I don't have my schedule in front of me, or I do want to do something, but I don't know when my friends are available. So this is important. This is so important, because I don't ever want you to leave the ball in their court. And even if your verbiage is with it in their court, just know in your mind, it's not in their court, it's in my court to follow up with her. Okay, so that's when you're saying to her, okay, totally understand. I'm so excited that you're going to have some girlfriends join you. Do Thursdays typically work for you? And if she's like, yeah. And then I'd say, you know what, let's just pick out a Thursday, like in 2 weeks. You want to do that? Let's works for me. Let's just pick that date out, and I'm just going to kind of pencil it in here in my calendar. And that way you'll have a date to share with your girlfriends. Because if you don't have a date to share with them and you're asking them for dates, they're going to give you you're going to get 12 different dates, or you're going to get, I don't know. So let's just schedule it, and then you have a date to share with them. And so she'll say, okay. And you can say too, and if we need to change it, we'll change it. No big deal. I'll be in touch with you so we can figure out if this date is going to be a firm date. Right now we can pick out a soft date. Okay. It's better to have a soft date than no date. So that's the important part. Also, maybe you really like her and it's Thursday and your meeting is this coming Monday, and you're like, I want you to come to my meeting. I would love to show you off, and you can try a new look that night. She can even bring girlfriends with her that night. So keep in mind, I think one of the best things I did as a consultant was I always had guests at meeting with me. Always, always, always. And it's so valuable because they see everybody. They don't just see me. They see all these different personalities. They see all these different ages and races and, educational, everything. And so then they start thinking, well, gosh, look at this sisterhood. Look at these awesome women. Maybe I could do this too. So I have found that my recruiting rate goes way up when I bring them to meeting. So anyway, that's just kind of a side note there as well. Okay, so now we have booked the party. We have coached the party, which means we're doing the pre-profiling and we're following up and we're getting the hostess excited about that. By the way, if the party is out more than normal time, more than 10 to 14 days, I will create a little save the date pic collage and just on my phone, and I will text it to the hostess and say, hey, forward this out to your friends so that they can get it on their calendar too. And it just kind of solidifies it in her mind a little bit too. It gets them all excited. So you can think about doing that. So then you coached it. We've talked about, what time to arrive, how and when to set up, how to coach her through when to serve food and things like that, how to open the party, the guts of the party, how to close the party. And then what I do is as I'm doing all these individual closes, then at the end, I always ask them, okay, so let's say I'm closing Autumn, and I say, okay, Autumn, and we're through, we're totally done. I've totaled up her ticket. We've booked her follow-up. And I say, hey, Autumn, do you need to leave right away? And if she's like, no, I'm going to hang out and talk to my friend Ashley for a little bit, then I say, okay, great. Let me know if you need to leave, but I'm going to finish everybody else, and then I'll go fill all the orders all at once. It kind of saves you from going back and forth. But if she says, actually, yeah, I've got to go right now, I would say, okay, great. I'm going to run right out right now and get your product. So just being flexible with that. Speaking of being flexible, that is, okay, so one of my mentors, Priscilla McFeeters, would always say this phrase, and I swear to this day I still repeat it. Blessed are the flexible, for they never get bent out of shape. Isn't that a great saying? I love that. Because when you are doing a party, and those of you who are seasoned, Chelsea, many of you who are seasoned, you know that there's no two parties alike. There's no such thing as a perfect party. Never have I had it where everything goes as planned. It just isn't. You're dealing with people, you're dealing with women, and there's all different things that are going to happen. You're going to have people showing up at different times, people leaving at different times, all kinds of stuff. So the important thing is to have fun and to be flexible and go with the flow. I did a party yesterday, and we even had the area all set up for the one-on-one close. Like, she had it all set up in the living room. Well, somebody came late to the party, and her husband and family came with her, and they sat in that living room where we were going to do our one-on-one close. Well, there was no way I was going to bring these women in and ask them, these questions about purchasing product in front of a family that they didn't know. And so we ended up doing the individual closes right there at the table. So, not the end of the world. It's just we're being flexible. So I just want to remind you the importance of that. And when you're having fun, they are connecting with you. And that connection is one of the most valuable things that you can really do. I work very hard at connecting with people. And how you do that is by asking questions, by being relaxed, by being yourself. And so if you've ever wondered, like, how do I do this without being pushy? How do I get that follow-up appointment without, pressuring them or whatever? Then here's a couple of ideas. Number one, like I said, ask questions. When you're asking questions, you're finding out about them, you're finding out what they like, their interests, what's important to them. Number two, if you feel like you're being pushy, say it. Say it. Because if you feel like you're being pushy, and for instance, let's say you have a friend that you have been trying to get to come to your meeting, and you've asked her 18 times already, and you feel like, I cannot ask her again. Oh my goodness, but I really want her there. Then I think you need to say to her, and this is exactly what I would do. I would say, hey, Chelsea, I hope I'm not driving you crazy with this, but I so want you as my guest this week. Is there any reason why you couldn't be my guest this weekend meeting, or whatever? Say it. So say it, because what she'll say is, "Oh my gosh, girl, no, you are not being pushy. You're not. It's no big deal. I'm just so sorry that I've not been available. But let me check my calendar. And then again, let me check my calendar. Is it up to her to get back to you? No, it's up to us to get back with her." And so making sure that you're writing their names down too as you're following up and you're doing your booking attempts, and you've got people that are on the fence or looking at dates or whatever, that you have their names written down in your calendar so that you can follow up with them. If I have somebody that's told me, let me just give you an example. I have a party that I just booked, and I literally just sent her the save the date. And by the way, I still do parties even as a national sales director, because number one, I love them. Number two, that's where I find my next team members and my future directors and things like that. And I just think it also, me being in the field makes me relevant, and I want to know what's going on out there. I feel like I can't lead and guide you as well if I'm not out in the field as well. So anyway, so I just booked this party. Now, keep in mind, we have been trying to book this party since July. Originally, when I first started booking her, it was like April. We finally have a date, September 21st. This is the reason why I said you must continuously be asking, because when you're continuously asking, you will you'll have that steady flow. So those people that say, "Oh, I can't this month at all," or whatever, then you're asking enough people that you are continuously having those bookings. So let's say you're booking somebody and they say, "Oh my gosh, I can't do anything until fall, like October." So here's how I would handle that. I would say, "Okay, no problem at all. I want to set her mind at ease," because I think the only time we're pushy is when we are pushing them beyond what they've already said to us. Does that make sense? So basically, if they've said, "This is where I stand," and we continue to ask the same question or whatever, that's being pushy. But simply following up and being pleasantly persistent, that's not being pushy. So if somebody said to me today, "It's going to be October," then I would say, "No problem at all." I would look at my October calendar and I would give her 2 dates to pick from. I would not wait. I would not wait until September to follow up with her, because if I wait till September to follow up with her, she's going to push it to November. That's just how it is. But if we at least get a date on the calendar, remember, a soft date is better than no date. So that's how I would handle that. So my number 3 way to not be pushy is to make sure that you're working with enough numbers. Make sure that you are not just talking to the same 3 people. We have people in all areas of our life. All areas. You guys, my story. I just moved here when I started my Mary Kay business. And even I was able to start a Mary Kay business right away and get going right away. And that's because there are people around us everywhere. My first customer was somebody from back home. My second customer I met at a networking event. My third team member was my hairstylist. My 4th team member was a coworker. My 5th team member was a coworker. My 6th team member was a gentleman who banked with us. It was his wife. And I could go on and on. You are connected to people everywhere. Are you talking? Are you opening your mouth? Are you sharing your product and your opportunity? Well, this, excuse me, Pacesetter series has been all about the power of the parties. And we all know that parties are like push-ups, right? We said that many times. And my son's pitching coach, whom I love, he's a brilliant, brilliant man. He said something one time. Actually, I try to go with him as much as I can, and I take notes because he works as much on his mind as he does his fundamental skills, which I find fascinating. But I think that's with, we talked about the Olympians, that they work just as much on their minds as they do their bodies. But he said specifically, learn the fundamentals and then practice the moves. Okay, so think about that. You're learning the fundamentals of the party. And I'm so proud of you that, even those of you who are seasoned and have held a lot of parties, that you're still willing to learn, because I think there's always something to learn. I think we're always honing our skills, myself included for sure. But we're learning the fundamentals of the party. And then we're going to practice the moves by putting them in place, by doing the parties, by holding the parties, by going through the actions. The more, and this is what he said, the more you think, the less you use your athletic skills. That's what he told Kobe. So it's the same thing with us. The more we're like, okay, what goes next? And how does this happen? The less we're able to just relax and connect. So the more parties you can do, the more faces you can do, the more that you won't even have to think about it. You could sit up in the middle of the night when the lightning wakes you up, and we've had a lot of lightning storms lately, and you could just spout off, this is my opening, this is my close, or whatever. You could do that, and then you can just be you, and you can connect. You can absolutely connect. I just want to close with this and say, just a reminder that when I'm coaching our sales directors, I'm coaching them to work with the consultants who are consistent, the consultants who are doing the faces, the consultants who are walking the walk and not just talking the talk. There are a lot of well-intended women out there that say they want more, but they're not doing the work. And so that is, just so you know, that is from me, that I am telling them, in order to have your priorities in line of God first, family second, career third, you must spend time with the ones who are willing to do the work. Everyone is able. It's the ones who are willing. So have your clarity about what you want most. Make sure your commitment is there, and have fun. Have fun with your business, because there's no business out there that is any more fun than what we do. I can guarantee you that. We have a blast, and we get to go bless other people all of the time. So thanks so much for participating. I'm so proud of you. I hope you make a commitment to yourself to make sure that you are holding at least 2 parties a week. Some of you will be holding 3. Some of you may be holding 1, but make yourself a commitment and make it happen, and go bless lives. And don't forget, we've got the marketing Zoom call here in 28 minutes. So let's go book for that. Thanks for your time, ladies. Have an awesome, awesome night. Bye-bye.